Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're going to spotlight Oddworld, Munch's Oddysee, the third in the Oddworld series. I've already looked at Abe's Oddysee, the first game, and Abe's Exodus, the second game. I'm going to just off the top say this is a spotlight. This game is playable for a very interesting reason, and the reason why it's playable is because this game has been remade in 2016, got very much patched. It was a refreshed HD remake, not really a remake, because they didn't change the gameplay. They just made a very early HD remaster, and then they remastered the remaster. So, by default, Munch's Oddysee originally came out in 2001. I believe for the Xbox and then the other consoles eventually. It came to PC in 2010, 9 years later. 2001, by the way, about 3 years or maybe from 1998, which is when I believe Abe's Exodus came out. So there was a reasonable amount of break between the second game and the third game. Yeah, this game is also sort of a different style of gameplay, as you can see right here in this teaser. They've updated it to what would have been a 2001 style of gameplay. Now it's 3D adventure platforming with a lot of action and collectibles and quite a bit of shooting of laser guns, and this is more along the lines of something like Banjo-Kazooie or Ukulele, which was the recent Kickstarter game to do something like Banjo-Kazooie in some parts, because you can see all of those collectibles everywhere, although there's a lot more like dangerous interactable things in this game than I think you might run into Banjo-Kazooie. So it's a massive change from what we were doing in the first two games. In the first two games, it was a flat two-dimensional platformer where you were solving puzzles to get your friends to bird portals, which then allowed them to escape. Now you're going to spend a significant portion, it seems, playing as Munch, if not the vast majority of the game playing as Munch, who is a new character, and maybe not that much at all playing as Abe, the character who has been the main character in the series. And I'm sure we will have collectibles and try to save people, but it's not this Lemmings-esque game that we've seen. Now the problem with this game, even though it's been remastered in 2016 and it's only like 2017 right now, so it's a practically brand new game with the remaster going on. The problem is it's the third in the series, and Oddworld Soulstorm is the HD remake that seems like it's going to be the second in the series. So and Oddworld New and Tasty is already out for the remake of the third game in this of the first game in the series. So playing this is in this weird position where you really wouldn't want to play this until you play the newest game. By default, there's been some major improvements on the controls. I didn't have to change anything or configure anything. There is some slight issues still in this game. No real control on video resolution or anything. When you come over here to audio, you can only go between full, off, and soft. And let me tell you, this game is extremely loud. By default, when I'm recording things, the audio, I have it at 25%. To get it to sound right to me, and like anything else I've recorded, even a little bit, I had to turn it down to 5%, and I still want it on soft. It does have 3D audio panning, which is, that usually is known by other names, or just in the game or not. Like, the movies are here so we can watch the attract screen, the credits, the backstory for all of the game. But if you do play any of them right now, they will have this. Ooh, this looks like it's a glitch because it's got two of the same intros. The reason why this is still getting patched in 2016 is because it was the original HD remake had some bugs. They apparently used that Alive engine to make this game. But see, to watch any of this, you can see on the left and the right, it has the forward and the back arrows, so there's a bug there too. There's Munch, or one of those is Munch, and it's the same stories that we've seen up to this point. There's these bad guys here, or somebody of that species, are probably over harvesting creatures to make some kind of food out of them. The about page just loads a web page. The game speak has been considerably simplified, and it's no longer pushing two controls. So however that works in the real game, I don't know, but at least in this menu, I'm not holding down a button and then having to hit a second button to greet.
How you doing?
Also, you can notice that there's no chant button. So no more chanting to open bird portals. All of these actually seem like they will be used in the game, except for fart. I suspect fart is just a joke. And then when you play as Munch, you don't even have as many options. It's just greet, wait, attack, greet all, and burp, which again, I imagine burp doesn't do that much. So they're getting away from the idea of talking to and controlling AI characters or other characters. Is there anything else we need to know before we start? Not really. So just to say the dates again, this game came out in 2010. No, 2001. Then it was remastered for PC the first time in HD remaster in 2010. And then it was remastered for HD in 2016. So it's practically a new game. It even has achievements on Steam. So it's very playable, except for the fact that you would either have to struggle through the first two games in their original state, or you play New and Tasty, which is the HD remaster of, not remaster, but remake of the first game. Probably in a gameplay style more similar to what we're seeing in the Attract trailer that we've seen in this game. And then you also have to wait for Oddworld Soulstorm to come out, which is probably the remake of the second game. And then you can play this game. And then you can play the game after this game, if you want to play them in any kind of order and you don't have a nostalgia or haven't played any of the previous Oddworld games before. It's such a weird situation they're in to have no less than 5 games available for sale on Steam, and there not be a good path to play them. So let's look at the backstory. Odds and ends from the 97 and the 98 game. Abe's Oddysee and Abe's Exodus. This is the same cutscenes we've seen before, but they look like they might have been re-rendered to be a little bit better. They're still, by 2017 standards, very rough, and by 4:3 ratio instead of 16:9 widescreen ratio.
This is Rupture Farms. They say it's the biggest meat processing plant on Oddworld. I used to work here. Well, I was really a slave.
Looks like they might have changed the skin colors of these guys to be all purple, where they were kind of more greenish I think, before. And the backstory for Rapture Farms is that's just where the first game was set, as best as I can tell, as somebody who didn't play the first game.
That's me. My name is Abe. I was Employee of the Year.
Seems more purple than green. He seemed green before.
That was before I knew. How we'd make new and tasty, I was still to find.
This cutscene has been edited. That he walked through that hallway a lot longer and had more dialogue.
Now that would blow my mind.
And they do this rhyming thing that I don't find very interesting.
The Gluttons were scared, 'cause prophets were grim.
The joke here is that these guys
had been turning up since.
don't have any arms, but they're in charge, so they don't do anything themselves. Or their arms are inside their coats.
Mullet was cool. He had
They literally all talk.
this new kind of meat. It was us.
And you can kind of see their enforcers don't have legs, except for robotic legs.
I just had to escape. I just had to be free. And I didn't even know I had a destiny.
Which the idea here is that
I had just got
his
past
species
those
is
slugs
much more capable
when the
than any of the
strangest
others.
thing I saw. A big moon was before me, and its face was my paw. Then I fell.
We haven't seen this before. You can see they're going more and more
Some big
comedic.
face appeared and said I was dead. Said our land was changing, was imbalanced at best. He told me my fate was to rescue the rest. For paramites and scrabs had been sacred once. But that was before Rupture Farms turned them into lunch. And they live in the temples, and that's where they still nest. And facing these creatures, that was my test.
And see, I didn't see any part of this in spotlighting the previous
test
parts,
was
previous
completed.
games.
I expected to rest. Then the big face revealed the intent of my quest. With two scars together, on the back of each hand, they could shut down Rupture Farms and restore the lost land. With hand scars complete, the spirits took form. Now my chant had power. Rupture Farms should be warned.
And see, if he's still talking about Rupture Farms, that's the first game, as far as I can figure. And they didn't cover any of this in the backstory of the second
I
game.
felt the switch to kill most of the power, and there I was, in the final hour.
I have to applaud this third game for actually giving some backstory, since the second game really didn't. It just said go buy the first game and play it.
Necrum. Long ago, the Mudokons brought their dead here.
So now we're on to the second game. And that was much better in backstory. And they really needed to say the backstory in this game, since it's probably an entry point for people who didn't play the first two games.
That couldn't see. The Gluttons didn't want anyone to know what they were digging up. And no one ever did. Not until the spirits of those bones paid me a visit.
So this is the game that they're remaking in Soulstorm, or at least that's the idea, because you wouldn't really name it Soulstorm any other ways.
Why not?
Because, if brew's made by gluttons, it's probably bad for you. We had forgotten our past, and now it was costing us our future.
So they were drinking the drink made from
Even
their
our
own bones.
soul.
Come on up. No, and improve.
Well, what is it?
Don't think. Drink. Ah, come on. Do it.
Okay. At first, the Gluckins gave their brew away. Oh, tasty. But once the Mudokons started drinking it, they couldn't stop. Then those Gluckins told them that if they wanted to work, they could have all the brew they wanted.
Only if you got a job.
They fell for it.
Step right up.
Oh!
I love his job. Step right up.
So now, the weirdos want me to destroy the brewery, but I gotta save the Mudokons there first.
So yeah, the first two games are about saving the Mudokons,
Demand to know who is at fault here.
and here's the ending of the second game.
I'm telling you, it's that ape guy. Sell, dump it, lose it, get rid of it. I work hard, I work hard.
What if it gets to the boiler? The boiler?
The boiler?
What are we going to do?
The boiler!
And see, he kind of just lucks into knowing what to do. It's not like Abe is particularly intelligent. He's supposed to just be this everyman character. The everyman character versus the big corporate goons who are actually incompetent.
It's not fair. We had twice the flavor.
So it blows up the second
I
factory.
got out of there just in time. And I got the usual reception.
That's a bird portal.
The Mudokons were slowly coming together. And they were using their skills to build something new.
And so they were addicted to the drink. And so this is supposed to be an Alcoholics Anonymous style meeting.
It'll all work out.
And notice how their skin is green
My name is Elf.
and the other guys were purple.
When I was with Abe in the desert.
So
They
they
were taking things one step at a time.
Can I share now? No. Just shut up.
All was going well.
And you can see right now a lot of black
More of us
boxes
out there.
from JPEG compression, showing that these videos aren't very high quality, nor are they in engine of the remaster.
Find 'em.
And so the second game ends promising you more of the same in the third game, which is a slight betrayal because you are not really getting anything, it seems, like the first game, or the second game and the third game.
Interrupt this program to bring you this special news bulletin. Rumor control reports that Abe, the mastermind behind the destruction of Rupture Farms, is also behind the Soulstorm Brewery atrocity.
I hate that guy.
Stay tuned for more on this story as it develops. This message brought to you by...
And this is the company that makes this game, Oddworld Inhabitants. So that's the backstory for the first two games. We don't really have any backstory for the third game, obviously, so let's hop into it. Well, we're gonna get an intro scene. So Munch is a amphibious creature.
One time, there were lots of us.
It can swim in the water and live on the land. interesting fish design. Very much unique.
But that was all before there was any webs. Now, I can't find anybody.
And you can just tell by Munch's, like, voice and the way he sounds.
My name is Munch. And I've been singing for him ever since.
Like, he sounds very kind of simple-witted, kind of dull, just like Abe. Very soft-spoken.
Until last night.
Now, look at this cutscene. It looks way better. That's because they've updated and remastered some of the cutscenes and not some of the others. So you almost don't even want to play this game until it's been updated more, but it may not get updated anymore.
It wasn't a Gabbit. It wasn't a Gabbit at all. Who could do such a thing? Well, I was about to find out.
Well, those little mice creatures gonna eat him? You can see there's a lot of life in this forest.
Well, then what happened?
They took him away to Viker's labs.
Oh, Viker's labs? Poor little schmuck.
So you see, Stitch Lips, if you want to find your brothers, you've got to rescue Munch from Viker's labs.
Yeah, but how?
I don't know. You got me.
Find the big well, and then...
I have no idea who this character is that's guiding him.
Yeah, great. Let's go, guys. We're out of here.
Oh, I could never get what I need. This is too much stress and pressure.
That's a nice looking effect there, and now it's all in widescreen with the remastered. And so look at that jump. That is a very high jump. The almighty Raisin speaks. If Abe is ever to find Munch, he must find his Mudokon friends and bring them to the big well. Use the story stones and other objects to stand on the arrows and tap A. Like, he's going about 3 times his height. We have a do not disturb section. So this is wait. It's the X button. A is jump.
Everybody listen.
And they've got the buttons set so that wait is X, but if you hold down X, you fart.
Just sit tight, be cool.
So that's the exact same button for both of those. And then
Hey, what's happening?
hello is Y, but hello to everybody is Y. Is for everybody. And then B
Okay, little elbow grease, guys.
is help and work.
Go beat 'em up.
And then B is attack. So they've managed to put the necessary commands in 3 buttons. So you can kind of tell that 3/4 of the game is going to center around actually commanding other Mudokons. And it's weird that they've got him green again, although he was purple in the cutscenes. They're really off on deciding what color they want Abe to look like. And these are Spock Shubs. Spock Shubs are source of Abe's mystical mojo. Collect a Spock Shub, run over it to check Abe's spawns, hold the right trigger and note the green number. Birds represent health. So we have a hidden, let's see, right trigger. Well, I'm holding the right trigger and I don't see anything. I'm controlling the camera moderately well, and he has an attack and a poke if you right click, and then chant is left trigger, right bump, left bump adjusts your camera, and then right bump gives you that feedback. Tap up to run on the D-pad, tap down to walk, and then, so it's not the right trigger on an Xbox 360 controller, it's actually left on the D-pad. So you can see how much health you have and how that, but, or right on the D-pad, either one. So I have 2 of those now, you can see 2. Apparently we're gonna need a lot of these. Jump over stuff to get up here. So we are very much doing 3D platforming now. He fell. Did that really take any of his health? I don't think so.
Hey, Abe, the almighty Raisin has sent me to help you. So listen up. If you're ever to find that one-legged Munch, you've got to learn how to get around. Starting with this cave right here, right now. See ya?
So the shaman circle, to hear the shaman message, you can stand in the outer ring and tap A. So do this.
Hey, Abe.
Yeah, you always say that.
Fine, be that way.
And you can hit A and stop that too. So that's nice. What was that? I wasn't ready to read and I should have read. And it's strange the game is leaving a little bit of juice on the floor. And then this way, let's adjust to run. I feel like for an old game like this, just for time management reasons, you would want to run as much as possible. What was this one again? Let's see. Stand here and maybe adjust the camera is what they mean for you to do. So you can climb. If you fall down, you can climb back up. Honestly, this is a way more playable game by modern standards. It's not anything like the previous game, certainly, but it's following the similar stories and similar concepts. But this is what you would expect from somebody who's played something like Mario 64 or New Super Mario Brothers. Let's see. Are there any really well-known 3D platform in collectible games that aren't Nintendo? Not especially, because Nintendo is kind of the best at it. There are some on PC, but they're not. Okay, if Abe is running low on Spoosh, chant with the left trigger to grow a Spoosh Bob, and it'll grow into a full-fledged Spoosh Shroob. Abe can do this as many times as he wishes. So we kind of know now. But you have to be facing it. And they specifically put less than you needed. What's this one do? Spoosh clock, spoosh lock. To progress to the big well, must learn to open spruce locks. A blue number shows how many spruces required to open it. Tap A. If Abe needs more spruce, she can regrow spruce rooms by chanting. So, if you wanted to, you could just sit here and do this forever. Activate a spruce. And so how many do I have now? 1 extra. So it doesn't empty it. Nice god rays there. Lens flare. Where the game is remastered, it looks really good. It's totally playable. You're still gonna have that slight problem though of it not looking as good as it should compared to Soulstorm. So you're gonna play new and tasty. It's probably going to be not quite as good as this is, since this was remastered in 2016. I'd have to look and see if new and tasty has been updated recently, and I don't even have a clue about Stranger's Wrath, which is the game after this. They're telling you just to follow these patterns. Game speak to get the attention of an easy distracted Mudokon. Tap Y to greet him, and then to make him wait, tap X. So.
Hey, Abe.
And then.
You just hang here for a while. Aw, man. How you doing? Hey, what's happening, Abe?
And so they automatically follow you now, which is a big difference than the previous game. You used to have to say hello and then follow me every single time, and that in itself was going to prove to be amazingly annoying. Chant circles remind lazy Mudokons that they need to practice their mystic meditations to open the door. Bring the Mudokon close and tell him to work by. So get him to walk in here, and then
You help me out here? Yeah, whatever.
press the B button, and he opens the door for you. And you just follow this.
Hey, you managed to get out of the cave. Wow, so impressive. Okay, listen up. Find your lazy Mudokon friends and lead them to the entrance of the big well. Let the spruce shrubs be your guide and heed the wisdom of the story stones. Now get your blue button gear.
See, it's kind of this weird, like, New York attitude to maybe live up to a stereotype. See, I can press up to look downward, and that's going to be useful when you have this high advantage, but I can't press down to move the camera anymore. And this, I assume, is, without even checking, I assume this is just a way to get back up. And it is. Interesting. But I lost my follower. And so,
How you doing?
like, get him to come this way. Like, he was still following me. He was still in the follow state, but he didn't know where I was. And so we have enough to activate that. And we could go to the big well too. But let's do this since this seems to cost less. What's this one? Open the gate. The spice lock check to see if he has the right thing with the right trigger, which is not the right trigger. Like, the right trigger attacks people, and so does the right stick. Alia. It's easy to get more Mudokons at this time by pressing and holding Y. Yeah, we figured this out. Use the right button.
Hey, you chumps.
Hey, what's happening, Abe?
See, if they were just going with cutesy, I don't know why then they go with this sort of grim, dark storyline each time where creatures are getting over harvested. It says don't step here. This is, I assume, a mine. And how much of my health? Well, quite a considerable amount of my health is gone. So they put one mine right next to ourselves so that we could walk through here, and it seems like none of the other characters are going to follow me. Well. High pressure wells are natural features in Oddworld. Activate the space lock and get Abe to jump to the ancient well by facing and tapping A. Don't step on the mines. And this is the big well here. And I recently played a series of point-and-click adventure games, and there were trees that looked very much like this, just really terrible cardboard cutouts of trees. This is all the video cards in the old days could handle, and we thought it was amazing, or at least acceptable, even then. Let's see, what is this? There's like a whole nother section. The thing is, I've got all these Mudokons following me, and I don't know when you're supposed to get rid of them, or if this game is trying to show off the fact that it has a larger ability to aim and press A. Jump here, aim and press A. This lock didn't have a blue indicator on it. So that gets me up here. And so you can kind of see there's almost certainly at least 1,000 collectibles of these in the game. You're just gonna non-stop get these and use these. And you have two guys chanting. Mudokons are more comfortable in groups. Get multiple Mudokons to work by greeting them all and then pressing B. And then and they automatically just go to where they need to go. This is very playable, and because 3D platforming is kind of limited to Nintendo and Mario games, if you don't want to play those games, if you don't have the consoles or whatever, then this might be one that you would want to play. And I could see skipping the first two games. If Abe wants to get through the story, he needs to resurrect a dearly departed Mudokon to fill all 6 chance circle vacancies. To do this, go to the resurrection totem. Okay. So we're gonna bring Mudokons back to life.
You may notice that if one of your friends passes on, you can bring them back to life by giving spooks to this resurrection totem.
So, my experience is going to be very strange in this game. I'm kind of just looking at this game and spotlighting it now for maybe 2 to 3 years from now when I get back around to playing this game. So, imagine playing this in 2020. It's not going to look great, but it will be kind of the only option that you can do, because probably they won't have completely remastered, even thought about completely remastering this game a third time by then. And since that's the case, you're going to have a very back and forth experience, with Soulstorm being the newest and best looking graphically game, and probably the best playing game just because of better gameplay control mechanics, and then having to fall back to something that the original concept, it was at least made in 2001, 19 years later. this 19-year cycle seems to kind of happen quite a lot. If Mudokon warriors pass to the other side, you can bring them back by standing next to the thing and tapping A. If any other Mudokons pass on, you can bring them back the same way. So just press A. So there's one spirit available, and it requires 10 mojo.
Everybody listen.
And then come over here, and this will probably be the end of this tutorial. And see, they all kind of figure it out and open the door. And so now the real collectible, the open doorways, are going to turn out to be the Mudokons. But I imagine you never really get more than like 30 or 40. Time to throw Abe's reluctant homies over the rocks. Pick up a Mudokon, tell him to wait, tap X, and then stand behind him and tap the action button and throw him, then tap A again. Interesting. So while I can,
You better stay here.
and wait a minute, action button. You really got to get it well. So let's see.
Oh, yeah.
And then
You better stay here.
so you're gonna have a lot of this happen where you are gonna have to get right behind them and then pick them up, and it seems like you can just walk over to these rocks, but I imagine in future instances of this you will have to do a little bit more than that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, little elbow grease, guys.
And so then they're gonna chant. I think this audio is gonna prove itself to be incredibly annoying, though, in the long run. Like, I don't see that being something you could learn to love. In fact, the whole GameSpeak feature is just kind of a relic of an idea in video games that is a cool ability to show off that consoles were able to do. Any like good quality voice sound files, but you just don't do it these days like that. I have more than enough collectibles right now anyways, but we might as well see if we collect them all. Just want to
There's my buddy.
just throw him down there. And see, I don't even see a reason to attempt this. Like, sure, I could get most of these, but is it really worth it to collect everything here and edge yourself to the edge here, and when you fall down, go back up? And then do it several more times. The only reason why I'm even doing it right now is I do believe this would work a lot better if we were sliding at a less steep angle. But yeah, I think I'm at the end of this level in this little tutorial section. It's pretty big,
Okay, listen up.
though. Like, a lot bigger than what you would expect just for a tutorial, and way bigger than we ever got in the rest of the game, in the two previous games. Zap hinge. And I kind of just want to quit right now. Like, let's...
How you doing?
Hey, what's happening, Abe?
You just hang here for a while.
Gotta throw him on the edge. Did I just die? I think I did die, but it doesn't matter. Let's get back to running. And maybe I lost like 10 mojo things. 10 splooches. We have this big well. What do we need to do to open the next part of this giant level? The magic number is 5. Only 5 Mudokons working together have the major mojo to budge the store. Find them, greet them, and zap them. And, like, there's more mines this direction. Clearly there's not 5 guys in this area. And I don't think the idea is to see, we're about at 100, and I don't think there's a there's a surprising reason for that. So we've got more than 5 guys. And I kind of think, like, what'll happen is we'll pay this out, and I don't think I need to do this
Just sit tight, be cool.
as much as I need to pick up. Well, how about this?
Okay, little elbow grease, guys.
And see that
Don't you worry.
they don't know what to do. So I've got to pick up these guys, carry them this way, and put them in. And that's one chanter. I find this gameplay a lot more interesting and a lot more fun than the previous 2 games. Like, this is... I know I keep saying it's playable, but it actually is. It's actually even something that you don't see very much in Steam or in video games these days, because so much of video gameplay is around shooting and running around and running and gunning. Or if you're not doing that, you're swinging swords or doing some kind of puzzle or some kind of strategy. And there are some small puzzles here that we're doing, but not really anything major. Let's go ahead and read this. Zap hinge is a magnifying point of meditation. I don't think any of these Mudokons that we pick up are going to be special characters. They automatically start chanting. And so that gets the gate open. Please have the big well be behind it. That's 4 characters. And how do we get down here so that these guys also decide to follow me? I think some of the other guys decided to come back because I have 4 right now, and either I'm leaving those 5. Nope, they're all there, so.
Almost there, Raby. Now be careful, because like security forces have occupied the lands around the big well. It's mineral deposits, you know. Are you gonna let a murderous snake and a pack of wild sloths stand between you and a big well? Are you?
So, one thing I have noticed is there is this element of needing a subtitle in this game, and that's totally missing. In order to get to Mudokon follows the talk, press and hold B. Don't worry if Abe and his pals get ambushed, they'll fight back automatically. So if I hit start, we could check my karma. You earn your karma by rescuing fuzzles, Mudokon scubs, and labor eggs, none of which have even come into gameplay yet. And we could quick save. And then let's quick save. Probably the problem with quick save actually is that you need it to be a button on the game. And see, subtitles should be somewhere under here. Was motion. We could increase the walk speed and such. You could look at the controls, or maybe even think about changing the controls.
Okay, little elbow grease, guys.
So they're gonna open this area, and then I'm gonna say, get them. Jump them. And this isn't too different from the Pikeman games, which if you want to play the Pikeman games, play Overlord and Overlord 2.
Hey, Stitch Lips. Now, you gotta get through that slog run. Don't worry about your buddies. I'll help them catch up to you later. Just get to the tunnel that leads to the big well. Got a boogie?
Man, this first part is really long. So now info is coming in a different idea. Throughout Oddworld, these vending machines dispense consumer products with outrageous side effects. Drink bounce and get an extra. Spring and Abe step and stand in front of it to press A and tap. And he just drinks it after the whole Soulstorm element. Beware of slogs. And over here, I have 4 more seconds. Slog run. Help Slog get past these. Help Abe get past these hungry slogs and open the entrance to the big well. Leave the slogs in your dust. Chug some espresso. So this is not going to be very long effects. And I suppose the idea would be to really convince these guys to chase you. How many do I need, though? I need 85, and I think I already have 85. No, interesting. So they've got me. Need 4 more. And they're not going to be very nice about it and let me just chant in front of one. The drink animation's pretty fast, which I think you kind of needed that. Of course, now, if I was going to try and keep that perfect score of collecting every single one, I've blown it at that, but I couldn't care anymore.
Nice running, Abe. You made it. Now you'll find the big well on the other side of this tunnel. Which reminds me, I wonder how Munch
And we are going for a long time now. It's been almost an hour to even get to the tutorial to play as Munch. So, Rent-A-Cop missing, Gluck Queen develops hacking cough, last can of Gabbit. And you can see the graphics don't look terrible, but they're not widescreen or anything like that. And he's the last of his species, and they're just gonna do research and development surgery on him. It's not one of those rat things. So this is what those bad guys look like when they're not wearing the outfits. Apparently they do have arms.
Can't believe it! You're not working on our new and improved fabric softener! You know, you really need to start thinking big. What? That's exactly what you said about your shampoo brightener! Now look, that one tested just fine on the puzzles. It burned holes in our customers' heads! No progress without risks. Risks? Risks? That's the last damn Gabbit there is! Its lungs are worth a fortune, and you're sticking sonar in its head! But do you stop to think why I'm sticking sonar in its head? Sonar. Think of all those long nights, us pulling critters out of cages, and finding them takes ages. What's that got to do with you? Just shut up! Look, you and I spend what?
This is just so weird though, looking at these alien creatures.
20 hours a week we
I can't relate to them.
researching more addictive nicotines, sweeteners, baby food additives, sedatives, laxatives. Look, we have traps everywhere, right? And when critters get snagged, the traps send out a sonar beacon, right? Then we have to drop whatever we're doing and go out, pick them up, bring them back. But now, with my sonar enhanced Gabbit, it finds the traps, it brings the critters to us. More critters, more research, more moolah. It's flawless. Humphrey, I apologize. You are a genius. Oh my, I completely forgot. I left the puzzle on the burner. That's disgusting. And they make such a mess.
So Munch's job obviously is going to be to free the critters. And now we get a little bit of subtitles, hard subtitles, you can't turn off. And see, it's supposed to be cartoony, but it's just this strange, like, cartoons that you wouldn't really want to show to kids because it would confuse them too much. It's confusing me as an adult. But when I think about all of the weirdo cartoons that they showed when I was a kid, I'm like, gosh, how did these things get on TV? How were children allowed to see them at all? It's twisted. And that's not a phrase I use a lot. But it kind of is just a twisted perception. So it's almost the exact same game. It's just you're playing as different characters and saving different creatures. And unless there's something more. See, this guy's lips are stitched too. They seem to love to do that to aliens. I think it was probably a mistake to have us play as Abe. Because since I think most of the game is going to be playing as Munch, this is really where it should go. And you can see with the upgraded graphics it looks good, but it's widescreen and all of this, but boy can I immediately see there's some problems that would need to be updated in a third HD remake. Like all the hair effects on these characters are missing, so they're now these brown blobs. This circle here is barely a circle, it's more of a hexagon. The circle on this trash can, again, not a circle. The trash can, not a circle. Very sharp edges. This is a very old, dated style of rendering things.
Save the rest of those puzzles and find your way out of Viker's labs.
And so let's see, how far can we jump? Not that far. And it's the same interface. Munch's head port zap. Caged fuzzies need your help. Stand next to it and press A to zap open the cages. So now we zap these things free, which tells you that, see, to locate fuzzle cages, uses Munch's special button, the left trigger to activate sonar. So yeah, I think you're gonna not enjoy it very much, the fact that the fuzzles don't have that hair effects. And if you're gonna have like 30 to 50 fuzzles follow you, which seems reasonably possible, I wouldn't be surprised if even modern graphics cards might slightly suffer behind that. They shouldn't have, in the cutscenes, made them furry. They should have tried something different. They look like Critters, which is a movie series. To orders fuzzers to attack, press and hold. And so you've got a full fighting system going on here, in which you control the people. And what is this? That opens the door, and we can see there's even a bird portal, which that so far hasn't been explained to me in this game. We didn't zap this one free, and I don't believe there are any more in this area. You can see as he's hopping here, it's pretty slow. Congratulations, Munch has just rescued Fuzzles. Rescuing Fuzzles gives Munch karma, as in karma. The more Fuzzles, the more karma. Get it? And so he isn't chanting to open the bird portals. So we have 8 security that have been retired and 20 that we've let's see, that was done with energy that I just had, I guess. Employee status signs and rescue portals. We don't even really need to read it because I'm getting a hang of this. It's like, but reading the sign, just getting the camera to agree with me. Man, that's a mess. So there's 8 more enemies in here and 20 active more fuzzles. So it wouldn't be too much.
Hey, Munch, you get good karma for rescuing puzzles. Save as many of those little fuzzy fellas as you can. The more you leave behind, the worse your karma gets. And trust me, you don't
Now,
want
according to my research, you only need 50% karma, which is way better than a lot of games have done. Like, some games you have to do like 100%. And did that fill me up with some energy or something? Let's see. I can do this, or I can do right trigger to attack them. But I think at the end of the day I need to free more fuzzles so that they get them. So I can add a little bit of help there, but it seems like I would need more. Yeah, it took a while. And did I lose a fuzzle? Because I only have like 2. So coming over here and hitting zap. And then trying to free more of these guys. It's becoming more of a... So I should have 5 when all this is done. Do I have 5? No, I have 4. So I am killing fuzzles. So the idea of having an infinite amount of them, or the maximum amount of them, is not as likely as you might think. Did we get them both? Let's see, I'm back down to 3. And we're not really doing tutorial that much, are we? Let's see. Open this. Drink this. Like they intentionally are just giving us a like and getting all these freed is proving to be difficult. Trying to free all these. It's an odd gameplay mechanic, honestly. And I didn't do a good job at it. And without the zap, I can't attack these guys. And my life is about to end because of that. Seems like I could. Nope, can't quite get to the end there either. So unless I can resurrect fuzzles, like, I don't know what I need to do. So I was supposed to look up here. I guess that's what that button does. Alright. So I retired 20 fuzzles in the sense that I killed 20 of them and escaped 18. So you could see pretty easily how you could do less than what you expected. Less than 50%. Like, unless there's a chant or something I can do that would respawn them. I don't know. And then I'm getting this energy, and I guess the idea, almost certainly the idea in this game is to respawn the ones we lost. Is there a way down? No, I'm only swimming on the surface. And I think that's fair enough.
Live for your life, Munch. Oh, and watch out for those slugs up ahead. Later.
They want me just to run through my life. Swim for it, guide him through the water. I think this is good enough though. Totally playable game. Totally playable game that we'll come back to in potentially 3 years. Like, it's a strange thing to say, but how else can you do the story here? Every single action I take is a spoiler for New and Tasty and Soulstorm, which isn't even out yet. Which maybe we'll find out that the story changes. Yeah, they've got some showing off of abilities here where you're supposed to jump through here. Often when you see this in these old games, they are more tech demos than actual gameplay. And see, they just want me to run this far. If it actually costs 10 to respawn the guys, like, how many do I have? I don't think I have 99. Ooh. I could see this getting very annoying. Jumping and then missing jumps and then having to come back and try and collect things. I suppose you could sit there and chant for things and do all of that, but this was quite a mess. They really needed to tell me I needed 100. You need to collect 99 of these items before you can move forward. For some reason I can't jump over that, and I don't know why. Like, in the water I can jump fine, and usually in the game I can jump fine. But on the ground, apparently I've lost my ability to jump well. And see, I can't even make that. And is there a reset path or anything like that? No, there's restart level, that's what they mean. Meant with reset path. So, yes. Totally playable. I like the new change. I like the idea. I like the idea of getting it updated, being patched. Still, the fact that it's being patched and there's still some things that could be fixed on it in 2016 probably tells me that after they're done releasing Soulstorm, they very possibly might come out with a few more patches to fix this game, make it look a little bit better. Particularly the fuzzles not being fuzzy, not being hairy is a big issue in my mind, and I would like them to do something there instead of making them just look like bald balls of creatures. Is there anything else? This game has achievements, which will certainly motivate some to play more. As we played the game, we unlocked more cutscenes, so eventually you'll get the whole deal. But it's been a long spotlight, a lot longer than what we spent on the first two games. It's just so weird. It's so weird to not have that game playable right now. Soulstorm. The reimagining of Abe's Exodus, the second game in the series. Until that's out, until that's playable, until you kind of hear that that's good, you can't really justify buying this game and playing it. Nor can you really play the Stranger's Wrath, even though I think Stranger's Wrath is its own side story, completely just set in the Oddworld universe, and may play even more differently. At the very least, this is still platforming. It's just gone from the old school, very hard 2D platforming with a lot of deaths to 3D platforming with a health meter, which wasn't in the first game, and more checkpoints and all of that. So, unlike the first game, totally playable. I keep saying that, but that's really all I can say right now, and that's really all I was trying to check in spotlighting this, so it's kind of more for my information than anybody else. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Soulstorm succeeding. That's going to be it for the spotlight. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.